Yeah, I just got back from watching 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, the second part of last year's movie, The 28 Years Later, in 2025, which I wasn't a big fan of the first one. I was kind of mixed reaction to it as well. I liked it the first half, and then I didn't like it halfway through. But I did like the trailer from the original one, and to be honest, this movie almost kind of passed me by. I pretty much kind of didn't see that much advertisement on this film, which is kind of quite shocking. I don't think not a lot of people are talking about this film, at least that I'm aware of. And I almost legitly kind of just forgot about this film until I just remembered it. So I'm like, let's go see it. So for one, I actually enjoyed this film. I'm actually quite shocked coming into the Bone Temple, which to be honest, I was blown away. I thought I was going to hate this film just like I kind of hate the first one. I don't completely hate the first one. Again, I was mixed reactions with it. What I'm kind of interested about the Bone Temple is obviously there's not that much zombies here, which is kind of surprising. They do show up here and there, but there's not very much of it, which is kind of quite shocking because usually 28 Years Later has plenty of zombies. This one doesn't really have that much infected roaming around. They do have some parts, but it's not really much the main focus point. It's mostly about the group of the cults. Because at first, in the first one, they remind me more like Power Rangers in the very ending. Especially when they were moving around kind of crazy and kind of taking out zombies like nothing. And they look goofy and ridiculous until I was like, you know what, I checked out. I kind of hated them. But until finally the second part, the Bone Temple, we kind of get to explore more about Jimmy and about what he exactly does, and especially what he's basically up to and what he's trying to gain from actually grabbing Spike from the original, which basically kind of took him in, but trying to make him join into his cult. I love this part, especially the cult, which I actually enjoyed a lot. I never thought I was gonna like these guys, but surprisingly, I actually enjoy them. They're really probably one of the best parts in the whole film. But one of another best character is Dr. Kelson. Dr. Kelson, who is basically the bald scientist who's basically that made the Bone Temple, the whole bones in the boneyard. And basically he is there kind of isolated from people, and obviously the infected don't really bother him because he has mastered the way of survival and he knows how to camouflage himself from the infection. So it kind of makes sense there's not much infection around him except for one specific infected. Is the Alpha, who has basically been there in the very original, 28 years later from the first movie, and he is just there trying to basically destroy Dr. Kelson, but obviously he managed to get around him because he was using a specific drug that he was using so he could get around Alpha, which is kind of interesting with that as well because he was kind of, having a good story with him, kind of having conversations. I don't want to ruin too much, but in it kind of bring up the character, and especially Alpha, which I'm actually quite surprised that they kind of bring kind of backstories to these characters. So I'm actually was kind of excited kind of going in there and kind of learning more about them, which was kind of interesting as well. And obviously, let's go back to the cults, which of course we have Sir Lord Jimmy, basically the crystal, who is basically there as one of the main focus point in the whole film. He is basically the villain. And obviously there's a lot of other characters that do show up here, but it is brutal, but I do love it. It's very interesting. What I love also about this is the world. I definitely love seeing the Bone Temple again. I always love the skulls around it. And obviously there is definitely some action here as well. Great action. There are some horror elements in here as well, but not too much. Not so much of scariness or not that much jump scares. It's mostly just thriller and trying to figure out what's going on. And obviously there is some infected, but not too much. Just like I said, there's just a little bit there and here. And they're just not that much of them. I remember like the first one, the 28 years later, there was a different kind of ones and kind of threatening. But this one, there's only a few. They're not the biggest thing here. It's mostly about people and basically the cult and what they're doing. And it's kind of interesting seeing all that. Either way, the Bone Temple is really good. I enjoyed it and I had very fun with it. And to be honest, I almost forgot about this film. Legitimately almost completely forgot until finally somebody reminded me about it, and so I went to go check it out. And I'm kind of happy that I did. This is one of the films that you should probably go out and see, and or if you guys want to wait for the streaming service, you can. But I really recommend to go see in theaters. It's actually one of those better films of this month for sure. Usually these kind of months don't bring out that much good films. I'm kind of happy that to say that this is a pretty, like, it's one of the better films that I watched this month of beginning of this year. So I'm gonna give this a B plus. I'm actually quite happy with this film, and I'm actually quite happy to go experience it. I feel like this could be a good conclusion to it, but there is surprises to this film that they could make a third one if they really want to. It really depends on this film, on its success, but we don't know. I hope it could be a trilogy, so it's, like finish it off in 3 films, which is perfect. If not, that's fine. But either way, thank you guys for watching. I'll be seeing you guys on the next movie review. Later, guys.